Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. I want to make sure that everyone can hear me. I wanted to welcome you to 2022 Storytelling Night with Nebo School District. I'm so happy that you could join us tonight to be a part of this. Before we start, I wanted to acknowledge the land that we occupy here, the land of the Utes, the Goshutes, the Shoshone, the Paiute. My tribe came in, but not very often. And so I want to make that acknowledgement. Yat eh. And I am going to let you know that you are all in for a treat. You know, storytelling has always been a part of Native American culture. It was a way that we were able to pass down traditions, the values, the morals from the stories that we told were teachable information for our children and for our communities. Stories were told for many, many reasons to recount the history of a people, to tell where they came from, to relate exploits of a hero or a character, to educate children about cultural morals and values, and stories remain to be an inherent part of many indigenous cultures today. Now, when we do this, a lot of times you'll hear creation stories, tribal creation stories. You'll hear information about the land and how we connect to the universe. It can entail stories about the stars and animals and our connection to that. So you are all in for a really good treat. And I'm so happy that you made the time to join us tonight. Welcome.
Okay, as part of our storytelling night tonight, we will be having a raffle or drawing. We have some gift cards from Walmart or Macy's. And so throughout the night, we will be drawing names for those who are on. You must be on to win. We will draw in between each presentation. And if you win, you will have to come to Larson to pick it up because they will need to be signed for. So good luck. I hope you win the contest.
Awesome. Thank you, Eileen and Natalie. Tonight, I have the opportunity to give some updates about the Nebo Title VI royalty. Just a little bit of background about the royalty. Each year, our program hosts a princess pageant for American Indian girls who are in Nebo School District. They can be in kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. These girls will actually serve our program for 1 full year, and they will act as the spokesman for our program. The girls have the opportunity to participate in cultural activities and events, and they're able to share their talents with others. The pageant is typically during the month of June. And at the pageant, the girls have the opportunity to introduce themselves in their native language. They're able to share a talent, participate in an interview, and wear their traditional dress. So this past year, we had 9 participants. They all did a wonderful job sharing their culture and their talents. So we ended up crowning Haley as the senior princess with her 2 attendants, Juliet, and Angelina. And then Ava was crowned the junior princess, and her attendants were June and Isla. So these girls have been so much fun to work with. They are beautiful and they're talented. They're all super, super sweet. And what we've noticed with this bunch is that they are willing to serve, and specifically the Native community here in Nebo School District. So it's been so fun to work with them. A lot of their projects were based around service. And we just wanted to publicly thank the parents for their involvement, for bringing the girls to different projects, and for being a support system that we definitely need within our program. Their involvement is invaluable. It just makes our program function. So we are super, super grateful for the parents and the guardians who have allowed their girls to share their culture with others and allowed them to come to different activities that we've had. I am going to play a video. The parents and I compiled all of these pictures from different projects these girls had been working on, and we placed it into a video. After I play the video, we do have a quick announcement about this year's pageant. So I'll go ahead and I will show you the video.
We are the Nebo Title VI royalty. I'm Haley Lamont, the senior princess. I'm Juliet, the first attendant. And I'm Eva, the junior princess. My name is June. I'm the junior first attendant. I'm Isla, and I'm the second attendant. My favorite project was my 4th grade presentation because I shared my culture with my teachers and my classmates. My favorite part of being a Title VI Princess attendant is the powwow because I really like dancing. And I like to go dance and dance my day off. One skill I gained from serving as Title VI Junior Princess is effective communication. I am confident in teaching my peers, Navajo songs, dances, and teachings. One skill I've gained from being in the royalty is being able to talk in front of people and being able to perform in front of big audiences.
Okay, so that was just a quick update on some of their projects. All of these girls are so beautiful. They're so kind and they're always so willing to share with other people. So it's been the pleasure of each of the Title VI staff to work with them. So we just have a quick announcement about this year's pageant. We are actually changing it to be an ambassadors program. We are still going to ask the students to be the spokesman. They're still going to be able to participate in projects and activities. However, we're super excited to expand and let the American Indian boys who are in Nebo School District to participate as well. So we're so excited for this change, and we're excited to see who these future ambassadors are going to be. So if you're interested and maybe you know of a American Indian student in Nebo School District, boy or girl, who wants to participate, reach out to your Title VI representative and just let us know. We're happy to help you with whatever you need help with. I will turn the time over to Natalie for the raffle.
Okay, I hope I got everyone in. And whoever iPhone is, you're going to have to let me know who you are. All right, can you all see that? All right, I got everybody in. So here we go with the first one, which is a Walmart gift card. Oh, look, iPhone, you already won. So just put in the chat who you are. The next one is also a Walmart gift card. Oh, that's a wrong name. Lindrea. And Keith, you get the Macy's gift card. All right, that's all for our first drawing. I will see you in a few minutes. So,
All right, can everybody hear me? All right, my name is Shoshana Begay, and I work with Eileen, Natalie, Anna, and Brooke, and also Mike Larson. I am from the Navajo tribe, and I am the one that kind of heads the after school labs and teaches the cultural part of the lessons there at lab. And I'm always so excited to see our students every single week, Mondays and Wednesdays after school. I love to see their smiling faces when they come into the room at Cherry Creek and Larson, and they have made friendships there, and it's a great opportunity for me, and I know it's a great opportunity for them. So what we have been doing at After School Lab is about November, we were asked to have a storytelling night at UVU. And UVU asked us if we could perform a story there. And so I was like, oh, let's get our students involved. And so I asked the After School Lab students if they would participate in a play. And the play was called Honishkish. And Honishkish means fire poker in Navajo. And so during the month of November, we at After School Lab practice. And if you can see my screen, these are the students that are practicing for the play. They had scripts. They all had a part. Some of them had speaking parts, some of them didn't. And here's little Jericho getting really into poking at the fire with his fire stick. And then here is the beautiful picture at UVU that we took. This was performance day at UVU. All in their Navajo regalia, their beautiful jewelry. Here they are up on stage. Here are the narrators. We have fire right here getting into character. So so these are the pictures that I have of the play practice and the performance at UVU. So, and then Eileen's like, why don't we perform this for storytelling night for the Nebo School District? But we needed to refilm it. So we refilmed it at Cherry Creek Elementary all the month of February. And they did an awesome job. We brought in props. And what's so cool about this is the students still remembered their parts from November. I thought they would have forgotten their parts, but when I said, okay, guys, let's try to reenact the play again, most of all the students already had their parts memorized from November. So I was really excited about that. So I am going to share the Honishkish play with all of you. I want you guys to listen out for some of the Navajo words that you hear in there. So Honishkish means fire poker. You might hear other words. I do want to give credit to where I got this story from. It was from the Native American Indian Literacy Project, and it was made possible by funds from the Utah State Office of Education in joint effort of the San Juan School District Media Center. And a lot of it was created by Shirley Silversmith, who was a former director for Utah American Indian Affairs. And so if your child wants to read some of the stories, there's a Honishkish story. This one is How Coyote, Bobcat and the Corn. And then there's other stories too that the San Juan District has created. Okay, so we are going to start this story. And here it goes.
The Honishkish or fire poker is sacred traditional Navajo. They believe that the holy people blessed it and gave it to the Navajo to use in their fireplaces, their homes, and their ceremonies. Here is the story of the Honishkish. When the holy people in the Navajo first saw fire, they were amazed. They had never seen anything so bright. They approached the blaze cautiously, and as they got closer, they noticed how it gave off heat. He moved closer and reached out to touch the beautiful flames. Look at red and blue it is. I wonder what the heat like. Look out! It's so beautiful. The walls become in the way like noisy. And this isn't pop and the sparks keep shining when it's angry. It could be useful, but how do we make it quit making all that loud noise? We need to calm it down. Is there anyone here who knows how to make it quit being angry with us? I have an idea. Why don't we get a branch from a pine tree? I have lots of long branches. Go get one of them. We can reach it with a fire and maybe we can calm it down.
But as she poked and stirred the fire with the pine branch, the fire hissed and popped.
Why don't we try a spruce tree branch? Go over there and get a spruce tree branch.
She approached the fire cautiously and poked it with the spruce tree branch. It was worse than before. The fire popped and hissed and sparks flew everywhere.
It isn't working. Maybe get a juniper branch. Maybe it'll work. Go get a juniper branch.
So once again, the Diné went after a branch, but it was the same as before. The fire got hotter and wilder.
I have seen enough. Go into the valley and come to the stand by itself. A tree that has been struck by lightning. A pine tree or a cedar will do.
Another earth person volunteered to go. He found a lone cedar tree that had been struck by lightning.
When you poke the lightning-struck branch into the blaze, the fire immediately calms down.
With this fire poker, we can control the fire. We can use it for our own safe and warm. We can cook with the fire and use it for fueling.
That's what we needed. Look how the fire comes down. You count Honishkish when we come prepared for it. Yes, you'll call to send them down. Again, mother, again, father, at the fireplace.
Today, the Honishkish is still important to the Navajo. When they leave their homes, they place it on the doorway as a protection. They speak to the Honishkish and say, "Grandfather and grandmother, protect our homes while we are away." The dark charred end protects the home at night, and the lighter end protects the home during the day.
A Honishkish can be used by the mother who needs to leave the baby alone in the shogun for a short time while she tends to her outdoor chores. She can place the Honishkish in the dirt near the baby for protection.
The Honishkish is often referred to as Shamasene, who helps to stir the red hot embers forward to cook food for the family. And when preparation for the meal is done, the cool embers are stirred back into the stove. A prayer is said for the blessing of the home, warmth, and food for the family that live within the hogan.
The holy people did simple things to help Navajo remember the home is an important part of their lives. The Honishkish is symbolic of the connection between the home and the holy people. It can act as a guide and reminder to people throughout their lives.
Can we give those students a round of applause? Oh my gosh, I am so proud of them. They did such a great job. So like I said, these stories you can share with your child. Here's one, Coyote, Bobcat and the Corn, and Miss Coyote and Joe. These are stories that you can share with them. And the Honeyshkish story is also is part of this reading collection. So thank you guys so much. I don't know who's on here right now. I want like the kids that were in the play. So good job, students. You guys did so great. We'll turn the time over to Natalie.
Okay, so here we go again. We've had a few more join. So let's just get to it. This will be for a Walmart gift card. The Socies. Okay, next, another Walmart gift card. Lily. And this last one will be a Macy's gift card. Okay, Sean. All right, I'm going to turn the time over to Brooke.
All right, Yat-A, my name is Brooke Perkins. I am from the Navajo and Omaha tribe. I work with the Title VI program and I oversee the areas of Salem, Santaquin, Payson, and Goshen. So I work with the students from the elementary through high school. This past couple of months, we've actually been working with our Native Club students. So me and my coworkers each have our own Native clubs that we meet with once a month. We have the middle schoolers that we meet with, the junior high, and the high schoolers. So once a month, we go into our schools and we meet with our students and we share different cultural lessons and do different activities with them. But these past couple of months, we've actually been talking about the legislative process with our students. There are 3 bills right now that are trying to be passed into laws that directly affect the Native community. And so Eileen had brought it up to our team, letting us know that she wanted us to talk to our Native students, talking to them about the legislative process, the importance of voting, and also these bills that are directly affecting our community. So we each went into our schools and we met with our students. And I'm just going to briefly share my experience with my students. We all had great experiences, but I loved having the opportunity to work with my Native Club students on this project. When we very first began talking about how bills become laws and, you know, just the tedious process of everything, a lot of my students just instantly just kind of seemed really bored. They're kind of just like, why are we talking about this? This isn't very interesting. But once we started moving on and talking about the specific bills, they instantly started lighting up. You know, when I was saying, you know, these are the bills that are directly affecting our community. And a lot of our students, when I asked them to share their thoughts, they were so willing to share their thoughts. I was so proud of so many of them because they were able to, and a lot of the times, you know, they're really quiet in the meetings, but when we talked about these bills, they instantly, wanted to speak up, and they were suddenly speaking very eloquently and had so many good things that they wanted to say. And, they felt, you could feel that they felt very passionate about these bills that we're going to talk about. And so it made me really happy to see them engage in this dialogue and talk to each other at these meetings. And it made me even happier when I told them about this opportunity that we had, and so many of them wanted to be a part of it. So just seeing them wanting to genuinely help out and be included was such a great thing to see. And even though so many of them are so young, they really do care about these bills and the effect that they will have on the Native community. But most of all, I think one thing that was just the most incredible part was just seeing how they were willing to take time out of their day to come to the filming locations that we had. They're all very busy. They have a lot of their own things going on, but yet they still took time out of their day to come and film and also come to these Native Club meetings that we have. So this next video that I'm going to show is going to talk about the 3 bills that I have mentioned throughout this. So 1 minute.
Hello, my name is Mike Larson. I'm the Director of Federal Programs and Special Education for Nebo School District. And I have the privilege of working alongside Eileen Quintana, who is our Program Manager for Title VI in Nebo School District. She has a remarkable team that works with her, and they do amazing things for students and families daily. And you're going to see that as you participate in this upcoming, this next meeting through Zoom. I encourage you to listen and to take it in. I'm inspired every time I'm around this team, and I'm looking forward to you having that same experience. So I'm going to introduce Eileen Quintana, and she's going to tell us more about what you're in for.
I just want to say, to begin with, we have so many amazing partners. The Utah Division of Indian Affairs has allowed us to be a part of this whole process and to be able to include and engage the students in the legislation process, and to be able to show this and everything. We've had so many great people involved in this. Senator Iwamoto has sent a video, Representative Romero, and Moroni Benali has been a part of this, and all the Native Club students that we have throughout the Nebo School District's Indian Ed program. We have Native clubs in the middle schools, the junior highs, and the high schools, and we've been able to get the feedback from these students. So we're really, really appreciative of all the work that's gone into this and the work that the community has, and hopefully they can learn something from the information that gets shared today.
An idea is developed, a legislator draws from numerous sources in deciding what should be introduced in the legislature as a bill. Major sources of ideas come from constituents, government agencies, special interest groups, lobbyists, the governor, and the legislator.
The bill is drafted. The idea is submitted into the Office of Legislative Research and General Counsel, the nonpartisan legislative staff office, in the form of a bill request. The assigned bill is drafting attorneys review existing laws, researches the issue, and prepares the bill in a proper technical form. The bill is given a number, a fiscal review is conducted, and a fiscal note is attached. The bill is also reviewed for statutory and constitutional concerns. The bill is introduced into the legislature and referred to the Rules Committee. The bill receives standing committee review and public input. The Rules Committee recommends to the presiding officer the standing committee to which the bill should be referred. The standing committee in an open meeting reviews the bill and receives public testimony. The committee may amend, hold, table, substitute, and make a favorable recommendation on the bill.
The bill is returned to the floor. Following the committee hearing, the bills is returned to the full House with a committee report. The committee reports the bill out favorably with the amendment Substituted or that the bill has been tabled.
The bill is debated in open session. During floor debate, the bill can be amended or substituted. It can also be held. In order for a bill to pass the House of Representatives, it must receive at least 38 votes. The bill must receive at least 15 votes in the Senate in order to pass.
The bill passes both houses in the legislature. After the bill has gone through both houses, it is signed by both presiding officers, Senate President and Speaker of the House.
The bill is prepared for the governor's action. The Office of Legislative Research and General Counsel prepares the bill in the final form. This is called the enrolled bill.
The bill receives the governor's action. The enrolled bill is sent to the governor for his action. He can either sign the bill, veto it, or allow it to become law without his signature.
The bill becomes effective. A bill enacted by the legislature is effective 60 days following adjournment, unless another date specified in the bill. It then becomes a law.
Hi everyone, my name is Angela Romero and I serve in the Utah House of Representatives. I was lucky enough to be selected to be the sponsor of HB 30, which defines who can wear regalia when they graduate from high school. I'm happy to report the bill passed both the House and the Senate and is on its way to the governor. And I'm just fortunate enough to share this news with you and to talk about the importance of culture and spirituality and how we have to honor our ancestors, and that we here in the Utah State Legislature respect our cultures, our Indigenous communities. And I want to thank everyone who lobbied their senators and their representatives to make sure that this bill passed.
Yes, I think that the bill should be passed where people graduating should be able to wear tribal regalia. I think that wearing the eagle feather is especially just powerful because it represents like Native American pride and who we are as a people. I think it should be passed. I think for me, my thoughts on the bill are that, especially for me, I'm a senior in high school, and so it's something that applies to me right now. Something that is meaningful to me right now. I think that a lot of times people can just misunderstand and not recognize when something is like a Native American tradition or cultural practice. And I think that this bill should be passed so people can have that understanding, like, oh, this is something that's sacred and important to us. I think that being able to wear Native American regalia to graduation is something that for Native Americans is very empowering. Graduation is a big day, like where we get to look back at our accomplishments and things that could happen in the future. And I think that as Native Americans, we should be able to have our culture be a part of that eagle feather representing many things to us. I think that it's very important to have that with us on the day that we do graduate and have these things happen.
I think the bill to wear tribal regalia at high school graduation is important and should be passed because it's important for our Native community and important for our future generations. People celebrate their accomplishments in many different ways. For example, if you graduate high school with a certain GPA, you are gifted with an honor cord to wear at graduation. For Native Americans, there are similar situations where you can be gifted things like jewelry, feathers, and regalias for certain accomplishments. And we are meant to wear those in celebration and gratitude of our heritage, our ancestors, and our family that have supported us and are proud of our accomplishments.
I believe this bill will have a positive influence on Native communities because it will impact the modern culture and allow us to keep our culture alive within it.
I think the bill allowing Native students to wear traditional regalia at high school ceremonies should be passed because it's a great way to get the community involved and exposed to different traditions that we have. And it's also an amazing way for students to represent their different tribes and to feel more connected while they're going through high school ceremonies as a major part of their life. I think the bill is a great way for students to express themselves, and I really believe that we should be allowed to wear our traditional regalia because it means a lot to us, and I personally would love to at my high school graduation so I can represent my family and my tribe. And it's a big deal for students who are graduating in their tribes. And it would mean a lot to elders to see us wearing traditional regalia at high school ceremonies and representing the things that we fought for. I think this bill being passed for the Native American community would be an amazing opportunity for the younger generations because it can show what we can do for our community and tribes. It would also bring great happiness to our elders that weren't able to wear their tribal regalia at high school ceremonies. And it proves that we can make a difference in our community. And it'll also be a great opportunity for younger generations and make a lot of families happy and tribes happy to see their students wearing their tribal regalia at high school ceremonies.
Yes, I think that the bill for wearing traditional regalia should be passed. This bill is obviously very necessary, and if other states allow their students to wear traditional regalia, why not Utah? And the bill will allow them to express their culture more freely.
My name is Moroni Benali. I work with Restoring Ancestral Winds and also the Navajo Nation Council. We just had a meeting with the Executive Appropriation Committee, which decides how money is spent in the state of Utah. And Representative Romero and I presented for the funding for the Murdered Missing Indigenous Women Task Force. It's a $130,000 request over 2 years to study the root causes and of this crisis, and also other issues that we may not know of because we don't have the data. And once we get the data, we'll be able to have a better sense of what this crisis, the scope of this crisis, how it impacts others. And we seem to have a very favorable reception to that. And so this is an important bill, and all the credit goes to Representative Romero for all the legwork and effort that she's put into this. So we are grateful for that. So this is a quick update. Thank you.
Yate Shakota Star Billy Inchia, Billigana Nisle, Tobaha Bastin, Billigana Dusty, Ashihe Dasanale, Ditashke, Spanish Fork de Nasha. Hi everybody, my name is Shakota Billy. I'm from Spanish Fork, Utah. I was the Dream Starter for 2020. My dream was to teach my community about Hojo. Hojo is peace, balance, beauty, order, to be all around you and be one with you. Did you know Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirits are far more likely to experience violence, be murdered, or go missing than other demographic groups? American Indians make up 1% of the state's population from 2010 to 2018, but were 8% of all murdered women. Did you know that once an Indigenous woman go missing or dies under suspicious circumstances, the investigation process and sentencing process that are supposed to serve justice are often failed to provide equal and fair treatments for these Indigenous victims? This issue has recently begun to be recognized by the general public and policymakers, although Indigenous communities have been traumatized for all these injustices for centuries.
Signed, and thank you so much for having me.
This bill was created the Office of American Indian Alaska Native Health and Family Services within the Department of Health and Human Service.
Provisions are the following: defines terms, creates the Office of American Indian Alaska Native Health and Family Services, moves the old American Indian Alaska Native Health Office with the liaison to the new office, requires executive directors of Department of Health, Department of Human Services to jointly appoint Director, Indian Child Welfare Act liaison, and an American Indian Alaska Native Health liaison.
Indian Child Welfare Act, ICWA, was enacted in 1978. Studies revealed large numbers of Native children were being separated from their parents, extended families, and communities by state child welfare and private agencies.
In fact, research found 25% to 35% of all Native children were being removed. Of these, 85% were placed outside of their communities, even when fit and willing relatives were available.
American Indians comprise 1% of Utah's population but make up 6% of children in foster care. 103 Native kids at any given time in Utah, with only 15 state licensed American Indian natives foster homes.
Right now, 21 in northern Utah, 34 southeast, 11 western, 22 eastern, 15 southwest. Native families are 4 times more likely to have their children moved and placed in foster care than their white counterparts.
I think this bill is important because it allows American Indian, Alaskan Native children to preserve their culture, language, and traditional teachings. It allows children to gain their identity and be proud of being Indigenous.
I think that it's important to preserve Native American rock art because these are things that have been around for hundreds of years, and they're important parts of some tribes' cultures and understanding, you know, Native American heritage. So I just think it's important that we protect and preserve them as much as we can. I think that preserving rock art would be great for the Native American community because, you know, it's giving us things from our heritage to look back on, and you know, there's not very much artifacts that we have, so we need to preserve the ones we do have instead of, you know, it's kind of just going to a waste if these artifacts just get destroyed by gunfire. So I think it's very important for any community just to preserve these things so we can look back on our history and our culture. I think that the archaeology bill should be passed in Utah because then it, you know, sets legal obligations for the citizens to protect these monuments and this rock art, and it doesn't just leave it up to the everyday citizen to have knowledge of these things. And you know, it keeps them safe and it keeps them sacred.
I feel like the archaeology protection bill should pass because, for example, rock art, we can look at our ancient ancestors and also know what was life back then. Overall, my opinion about it is that people don't really think about our ancient stuff as, you know, sacred items and things that was dear to our ancestors, and also just it's really old. I think this will impact the Native community because of it's pretty ancient, and we can learn from their lifestyle, and there could be lost traditions that could be recovered, and it's very sacred to me and my family, even though we're way younger than them.
Subtract.
Okay, that is all that we have for my segment, and I will turn the time over to Eileen.
First, we're going to do a raffle before we turn the time over to Eileen. So let me share my screen. Okay, are you guys ready? This is for a Walmart gift card. Polito. Okay, another Walmart gift card. LeBlanc's. Okay, this is for the last Macy's gift card. Ooh, Julie. Okay. I will be back after Eileen's with 2 more Walmart gift cards. Now we'll turn the time over to Eileen.
Okay, so part of tonight, I wanted to make sure that my students were able to get some traditional teachings. And one of the things that I always heard when I was a young girl, in the wintertime, we would build a fire. I lived in a hogan, and the whole family would be there. And we would all sit and we would listen to certain stories. So I want you children, come here, my children, come sit down and listen. And I'm going to tell you a little story about a woman's weapons. Have you ever woven a rug? Raise your hand if you've ever woven a rug. Well, you know what? We're going to learn in this video clip about the tools that you use, some of the tools that you use to weave, some of the tools that you use to bring food for your family, to keep your family warm, ways that you can make things so that you can buy food, hay for your livestock, pay for your firewood and your heating and all the bills that you have. So I want you to pay attention, and I'm going to share with you a video. Okay, Natalie. Now, if I hope I can do this. Okay.
I'm not hearing sound, Eileen. Go into, pause the video. There's no sound.
I'm from the Nearwater clan, born for the Edgewater people, my father's clan. My maternal clan is the Folded Arms clan. My paternal clan is the Towering House clan. My name is Eileen Quintana, Eileen Tinhorn Quintana. I'm originally from Denhoso, Arizona, and have moved up here to go to school, and then ended up staying up here in Spanish Fork area. And today I brought all these things to show students and show people that there are very important tools that traditionally in our culture, the Dene culture, these are very, very important. These are what sustained us and provided the things that we needed to make a living and to bring home money, to bring home food, to pay for hay for livestock, to pay for trucks, cars, rent, our houses, everything we needed to make a living. And today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about this. Now, I'm going to start out with the most important thing to me, which is the wedding basket. My mother always told me that everything that a woman has, the most valued possession, are the tools of a woman, the weapons of a woman. Way back in the old stories, there are certain things that could terminate our lives. Cold, the weather, starvation, diseases, and different things like this. So to fight them with our own powerful weapons, we use these tools. The wedding basket is one of the main tools. We use it when we get married. We use it for medicines. We use it for food. It can be used for ceremonies, many, many different things. And as you can see, I've got this one. I've got this one where you can actually wash your hair in. And I've got an old one that my husband gave me. And these are all useful tools. Now in the summertime, when you plant your garden, you plant all the vegetables, all the corn. And corn is one of the mainstays in a traditional way of life. Beans, corn, squash, melons, those are all helpful. When you plant your field of corn in the fall, you should always dry your corn right on the cob. And as it gets dried up, then you can twist this and pull the kernels off. And if you have two of them, you can bang it against each other and they'll fall off real easy. And then you take the kernels and you put them on the grinding stone. And you would take the kernels and you would grind it. This is my most valued possession, the grinding stone. The top and the bottom were ones that were saved by my mother, being handed down through my line. And once you get the corn all crushed and ground into flour, then you would take this brush and you would use it to pull all the cornmeal off. And you just brush the cornmeal. As you can see, there's still a little of it here on this from the last time that we ground corn on this. Then you would take your cornmeal and you could make food. You could make a mush with it. You could use it to thicken soup. You could use it to make cakes. You could use it in all different things. You could use it for ceremony even. So that's one of the most important tools. This brush is another one. There's one that's used for brushing your hair, but a smaller one like this is one that we use to brush the cornmeal off the grinding stone. Another important thing is your huaneshkish. This is a fire stick. And the fire stick, all these items that I'm showing you have their own prayers, have their own songs connected to them. There are stories that originated with these. And when you leave your home to go travel, you would take this fire stick and you would put it right by the door. It would stand and it would protect your house against intruders. And it would also, you would never leave a baby alone. You would put this by your baby and it would help it. And a lot of times, what a lot of people don't know is a lot of these tools are just not sticks. These are powerful weapons to keep cold away. It provides for the family. The stirring sticks, a discine, the stirring sticks is what prepares your corn once you put it in hot boiling water. You can't put your hands in there, but you can put your stirring sticks, and you can take your stirring sticks and you can stir the corn in the hot boiling water. So this is very powerful, these items, tools that we use. Now for weaving, I also brought a loom, and this loom is standing right here to weave rugs. This is one that I've got that's already woven already, once on the loom. And all the tools needed for that is you would first shear a sheep, you would take the wool, you would clean it by fluffing it out and taking all the dirt and the sticks out of it, and then you would take the carders and you would comb the wool in one direction. I already did it with the wool that's right here. And by using it in opposite directions, you get that roll. The roll you want almost looking like a burrito. And that would be what you would then spin on the spindle. The spindle is this right here. Once you have your wool, you would take this, you would attach it, and you would start spinning. And as you spin, you pull on the wool, and you're just going to spin this towards you. And you're pulling on the wool. The more you pull, it'll turn into the yarn. And as you get done, you'll just wind the yarn up around this portion right here. So that's the spindle right there. And then from there, the process would be to dye your wool after it's been turned into yarn. And then after the dyeing of the wool to the colors that you need, then you would go to the weaving of the rug and getting your design and everything. These are all right here, and they each have a job to do. This is what you would pound the yarn down with. The etzol, that's this right here, the comb. And these tools right here are the batten. These each come in different sizes. They're each designed. I love this one. This is from my sister, and one side is smoother and flatter than the other side, and perfect edges so that you can put it into your rug. So all these have different widths, different lengths, depending on what process you're in the weaving. Once you get to where you're almost done, you're going to be using more narrow batten rods than you are the wide ones. And once you get to way at the end, you'll be using tools like this, because your wide batten won't fit through once you get almost to the point of closing your weaving. These all help in pulling the yarn in and out so that you can continue to finish up your rug. These, like I said, are called the tools of a woman. And they sustain you, they provide for you, they make a living for you. And I like to call them the weapons of a woman. They keep cold away, they keep death away, they keep illness away, and provide beautifully for your family. I wanted to share this information with you because I know that many children, my students in Indian Ed here in this area, a lot of them, their parents or the grandparents, for one reason or another, don't know some of these information or tidbits of stories, origin stories. So I wanted to share that so that our youth realize the beauty of our culture and the beauty of the tools that we use to make a living, the beauty of Navajo teachings for both males, females, and the beauty of the arts, and how to be able to be self-sufficient, resilient, and powerful in being able to provide for your family. I hope that you learned something. Thank you very much.
Mike. Oh, is it you?
Okay, so our last drawing before we have Mike close us out, we have 2 more gift cards for Walmart. Let me share my screen. All right. Kylie. And the last one, Michaela.
Well, congratulations.
All right, Mike, let me stop sharing my screen and then I'll turn time over to you.
Great. Can you hear me okay? You okay? Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Larson. I have the privilege of working alongside Eileen Quintana and her amazing team that you have seen here tonight. I want to tell you a little bit about me. I grew up in Mapleton, so not too far away from here, and I am one of 13 children. You think about how many children are in a typical family. I had 12 brothers and sisters, and I was one of the babies. I was third from the end. And I was thinking of a story that I wanted to share with you, and it was when I was 5 years old, and I was about ready to go to kindergarten. And I lived in Mapleton, and I was about a half a mile away from the elementary school. And in front of my house was a big 20-acre field, and it was beautiful. Sometimes it had grain, sometimes it had hay, sometimes it was beautifully plowed, and sometimes it was covered in snow. But as I was preparing to go to kindergarten, my dad, he knew that it would be good for me if I walked to school. And I went to school in the afternoon. And so my older brothers and sisters were already at the school. And so when it was time for me to go to school, I was walking alone. Now, my mom was a little worried about me walking to kindergarten. Now, in front of our house was that big field, and in my house was a really big window. It was huge. It was about the size of the room. My mom and dad wanted lots of natural light coming into that room. But I remember my mom saying, "Okay, son, you go ahead and walk. And whenever you get afraid, if you're getting nervous, go ahead and turn around and look home, and you will see me in the window. And I will be in the window with a white cloth, and I'll wave it above my head so you can see that I am here." And so I took a deep breath that first time, I'm sure, and then I started off and on my way. And when I'd start to get a little afraid or nervous, I would turn around and I would look home. And guess what I would see when I looked home? I saw my mom in the window waving a white cloth to let me know she was there. And then I would go on a little farther. And then finally I was up on another street, but I could look home through that field that was empty, and I could still see, whenever I paused, I could see my mom waving her cloth in the window. And I could almost make it halfway to school and still look at my mom in the window at home. Then when I took one last look at my mom in the window, I then turned and ran as fast as I could to school. And then I was safe at school. But I remember this story. I think about our young ones that are here today, that were part of the play, that are here right now. I'm so grateful that you're here with us. The young ones in going to kindergarten, and the older ones that are in high school. And I'm grateful for the family members, the parents, the grandparents that are here with us. And I want all of our young children, and I want all of us, whether we're 5 or 55, to know that we're not alone. There's always someone that's there pulling for us. There's always someone there that's waving a white hanky. There's always someone. And that's what this beautiful team that Eileen has put together, this amazing team. We have Eileen Quintana and Natalie Billy and Shoshana Begay and Annalisa Allison and Brooke Perkins and Julie Cruz and our parent committee. And we are so grateful for you, because we make sure, they make sure that nobody is ever alone. Even though you might be walking to school as a kindergartner and you're walking by yourself, you're not alone.
You have people that are pulling for you, that love you, that care for you, that want you to succeed in every way. And that's how I feel about this beautiful and wonderful and magnificent Title VI team and program in Nebo School District. We are so grateful that you would join this wonderful night. Thank you, Eileen, and your remarkable and inspirational team. I tell Eileen that I am inspired every time I listen to her. I feel of her spirit every time I'm around her, of how much she loves and cares for everyone. Thank you so much to each of our members of our Title VI team. Thank you, families, for being a part of this beautiful night and being there, always there for the little one, for the high school, for the elderly one, all of us. We have someone there pulling for us in every way. I'm so grateful to be a part of this team and be here tonight. Thank you for joining us, and good night.